and really excited to introduce Ashley Bass to U Conferences.
Hi, everyone. I do want to give a quick shout out to the breakout session that I just attended with Amy and the guided meditation, because it was kind of exactly what I needed to step up here. And I basically was like, thank you, more. Like, outside of the comfort zone completely. So thank you to Amy for that. For many of us, life can feel like a series of seasons. Some are full of growth, and others are full of challenges. But just like a business brand can be redefined, so can we. Rebranding isn't just about logos or slogans. It's about redefining who we are. The journey to rebranding yourself is not always easy, but it is very possible for anyone who is willing to take that first step toward making a change. And after I share my personal experience with you, I hope you'll be inspired to embrace your rebrand if you're in a position in your life to do so. For me, my rebrand started in 2022. I had a good life, 2 amazing kids, a husband, a house, a dog. I had been working for 16 years in my dream career as a kindergarten teacher at an amazing school in Hiawatha. Wife, mom, teacher. That was my brand. But the reality was, I had been in an unhappy marriage for years. Looking back now, I see just how dependent I was on that brand. I was stuck in the idea of what I thought life should be, and I focused more on the views, the perceptions, the praise, and the acceptance of others over how I truly was feeling. So I chose to resist. Ending my marriage didn't fit the image that I had wanted for my life, so getting a divorce wasn't supposed to be a part of my story. But the longer I resisted, the harder it became until I couldn't resist anymore. In July of 2022, my husband and I decided to end our marriage and get a divorce. Down went the brand of wife. A month later, before I even truly had time to process what was happening in my personal life, I found out that my beloved school was being sold and my career would also be ending. Down went the brand of teacher. No matter how much I wanted to pretend like everything was okay, it absolutely wasn't. I was completely and utterly outside of my comfort zone, and I was not okay. Have you ever had a moment where you looked at your life and thought, this just isn't where I thought I'd be? Looking back now, all of the signs were there that my life was in need of rebranding. Things felt redundant, as if I was just on a repetitive cycle. Wife, mom, teacher, repeat. My future was beginning to feel different than the message that I was living. After both my professional and personal life had gone up in smoke, I had no other choice but to accept that something had to change. I was stuck. I had no idea what direction I was supposed to take or what I was supposed to do, and it was awful. I know in today's world, no one wants to admit weakness. We don't want to talk about the struggles or the pains that we go through. But I'm not ashamed to stand here today and admit that I was struggling. I was hurting. I was so confused as to why both of these life-changing events were happening to me at the exact same time. I'd go to work each day trying to wrap my head around the fact that the place I considered my second home, the place where both of my babies were loved and cared for from 12 weeks old to 5 years old, was being taken away. I was so proud to work there, and I was really good at what I did, and I did not understand how or why this was happening. I was devastated. And then, at the end of the day, I'd go home. And to what? A broken marriage? A place where I felt unfulfilled and overburdened? I felt so alone and so sad. The only positive thing I had in my life were my kids. But then I felt guilty because I was putting on this happy face for them, pretending like everything was okay when clearly it wasn't. And at that time, they didn't know that their mom and dad were going to be getting a divorce. And I had no idea how I was supposed to tell them that. So on the inside, I was completely and utterly broken. I knew I had to figure out what I was going to do next for work. The clear answer was to find another teaching job. I had wanted to be a teacher since I was in the 3rd grade. I went to college to be a teacher. I accepted my teaching job the summer after I graduated from Co, and I had lived that dream for years. So why would I stop now? I updated my resume. I wrote my letters of intention. I reached out to some amazing friends and colleagues for letters of recommendation. I started applying for jobs. I was more than qualified for these jobs that I was applying for with my education and my experience. I checked every box. I did everything right to prepare to enter the job search world. I applied, and I applied, and I applied. I interviewed, and I interviewed, and I interviewed, and it was rejection after rejection after rejection. Talk about a hard hit to your self-esteem. I'm a college graduate, a licensed teacher. I have 16 years of experience, and I'm just trying to stay in the education field, and nothing. Everything that happened forced me to go through a domino effect of choosing the next step in my career. Do I continue to try and stay in teaching, or do I seek a new path? During this time, my husband and I were still living together. It had only been a few months prior to all of this that we had decided to get a divorce, and I didn't have the mental strength to deal with both my personal and my professional life-changing events taking place at the same time. I couldn't do it. So when I was at home, I would find myself trying to cling to familiar routines and have authentic conversations like anyone would like and hope to do with their partner when you're going through a difficult time. But I would end up walking away from those conversations feeling even more confused or worse about where I was at in life because I knew this journey was now mine. It wasn't ours anymore. I would be going down this path alone. This pushed me to stop resisting and embrace what was happening. When you feel yourself resisting, maybe take a moment to ask yourself why. The trick is not resisting what is happening, but accepting it and understanding that even the worst experiences can have a valuable gift wrapped inside if you're willing to receive it. Being forced to rebrand is an opportunity to be in control, to live a truly empowered life. We are not meant to stay the same. Evolution is our superpower. Embracing the rebrand of your life is about stepping into a new chapter with intention, confidence, and a renewed sense of purpose. It's a conscious decision to transform your mindset and redefine your goals. If the brand that you are currently living is causing you to suffer as you continually fight and sacrifice just to hold onto it, is that truly the story that you want for your life? Whether you are navigating a career shift, a relationship, personal growth, or overcoming challenges, rebranding yourself is a powerful way to align your actions with your true aspirations. It's about shedding the outdated layers and embracing a more authentic version of yourself, one that reflects your growth, your passions, and your vision for the future. Rebranding your life is not about perfection. It's about progress and the courage to be vulnerable in your story. So let your voice be the loudest. So now I want to ask you, when was the last time that you checked the brand on the life that you're living? Is it still yours, or is it a version of you that has possibly expired? Are you wearing a title, a role, a relationship, a routine because it's safe, or are you choosing it every single day? When you trust the journey of your life, you are taking a powerful step toward personal growth and transformation. It's about letting go of old narratives and stepping into a future where you define your own story. By embracing change, you open yourself up to new possibilities, aligning your actions with your evolving vision and values. Remember that every rebrand is a chance to rediscover your true potential, to build a life that empowers who you are today and who you want to be tomorrow. It's in these moments of discomfort and struggle that we are forced to shed the layers that we've outgrown. Though the pain may feel overwhelming, it is in these moments that we are reborn, stronger, wiser, ready to embrace the rebrand. The universe has a way of guiding us toward the truth, no matter how difficult the journey may be. And it's important to remember that once you rebrand, you have never lived this version of your brand before. So give yourself grace to truly own it. True strength comes not from just endurance, but from reflection, understanding where you've been and choosing with intention where you're going next. When you move with purpose, you don't just survive, you thrive. And in that journey, you don't just find success, you discover who you were always meant to be. We all have our challenges, our own version of hard. And life has a way of making the lessons get louder and more painful until you allow yourself to be vulnerable and stop resisting. When the discomfort got loud enough for me, I started to embrace my journey instead of continuing to fight it. Once I stopped fighting what was happening, I learned that so many lessons and gifts can come from the ashes of what was. And if you only take one thing away from my story today, I hope it's this. It's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to pivot from the journey that you thought your life was supposed to take and start a new chapter. When I was finally fully ready to accept my journey and step outside of my comfort zone, the path to my new career opened for me. It's been exciting, challenging, and rewarding. And spoiler alert, it's not an education. Never in my life did I think I wouldn't be a teacher, but I can honestly stand here and say that I feel so confident in the path that I am on now. And as for my personal life, I am a divorced, single mom of 2 who turns 40 this summer, and that's okay with me. Because I know that I am a happier woman and mom in that role than I was back in 2022. Standing here and presenting today is a true example of my rebrand, a culmination of all of the lessons that I've learned. The version of me that had expired would never have done what I am doing today. I would not be divorced. I never would have left teaching. I wouldn't have been brave enough to even consider starting a brand new career at 40. And I definitely would not be sharing my story in public. You don't need permission to rebrand yourself. You don't have to wait for the right time, the right person, or the right circumstance. You are the CEO of your own life. And if the brand you're living doesn't fit anymore, change it, because no one else is coming to do it for you. Embrace the change, and it will embrace you. Thank you.